your love and interest for cows?
I remember back when I was in high school in Fresno at McLean, and my friends used to drive around, and this one day we drove out to this dairy farm, Harpain's Dairy, and everybody was just kind of barting around, and I saw a few cows out in the pasture, and I stood up on the fence and watched them, and I looked, and one of the cows had come up, and I stared at the cow, and the cow was looking at me, and I looked into her eyes, and I was paralyzed. I mean, I was awed how beautiful a creature could be. And somehow, in some way, we communicated.
Wow.
And I gave a bow, a sign of respect, and the cow bowed and walked off. And I heard my friends calling my name, and I left. And each year, every time we'd go to the fair, or I'd be driving down the countryside, and I got my license, I would drive out in the country and honk my horn. And
I'm familiar with that one.
they would turn their heads and in a gesture, and people would say, I'm crazy. And in fact, my brother and I were driving down the road coming back from the Navy base in Lemoore, and I said, look, look. And my brother said, what's going on? And I said, cows. And he goes, oh my God, they're just stupid creatures. You could just push them and knock them over.
Oh, goodness.
I said, that's not true. That's a fallacy. They're beautiful. And I'm awed. I honestly believe there's something supernatural about them. They're thought of dumb creatures, but like I said, spend time with one, you're going to be surprised. And I'm not sure if you ever thought of it, but imagine just one day without them. We would have no meat,
It's true.
no butter, no cheese, no bread. We even use their skin for our clothes, for our shoes. How could
Very
we
true.
survive without them? Name another creature. Milk. How could we survive without them? Name one creature that gives us more than cows.
And pizza.
Oh, yeah.
We wouldn't have our pizzas.
You gotta love them. Give them a chance. Next time you go to the fair, you can go for the rides and the food. Slip over there. Yeah, you get used to the smell. But humans have their smells too. But spend time. Find one that attracts you. Introduce yourself. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but you'd be surprised. You might learn something about yourself. I remember when I was in the Air Force, I took an art class in Nebraska at Offutt. And people have their ways. Some people do pictures in the photography class. They would do people. That was their mark. Others would do buildings. Others would do landscapes, clouds. They would say, there's Andrews, because it was cows. In fact, I took time off of work. I had just gotten my new Canon AE1 camera, my first 35 millimeter. You remember those days? And I drove out to some far pasture, and I was standing there with my telephoto, and in the distance I saw a cow under this tree that was in the middle of the pasture, and I zoomed in on the cow, and there was a shadow that was above its tail on its back, and it was like a spotlight. And I held the lens, and then a blackbird landed in the spotlight.
Wow.
And I started to take the picture, and all of a sudden the cow turned its head to see what was on its back.
Oh, I'd love to have seen that.
And the bird tilted its head in response to the cow. And I got that shot. And I took it back, and I developed
Amazing.
it. I put it on an 8x10 mat, and I showed it to my professor, and he goes, "Did you set that up?" I said, "Yeah, go get a bird and put it on a cow, and then have them hold that pose, and then get the picture." And he said, "I'm going to enter this in the Nebraska Regional Art Fair." And photography was one of the contests. And he said, "Put a title on it." I didn't know anything, and even today, about cows. I can't go and identify them. That's something you might want to do. But in bold white letters with a quote, I put M-I-L-K. I found out years later it wasn't even a milk cow, but it won first place.
Wow. It's amazing.
And I told my photography professor, "How did you get to be a professional?" And he says, "Do you still have the negative for that cow and bird photo?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, Can you make me a copy?" I said, "You can have mine." He said, No, just go ahead in the dark room and make me one." So I did, and I matted it for him, and he says, "How much do you want for it?" And I said, No, I made it for you." He said, "Give me a price." And this was 1980, and I said, $250. He goes, $250? I said, "It's worth a lot more than that." And I said, "That's fine." So he took out his checkbook. Remember those?
Once
And
upon a time.
He wrote me a check for $250, and he handed me the check, and I handed him the photo, and he said, "Go print your business cards. You're a professional."
Yeah, you just became a professional artist.
That there's no degree for photographer
Mm-hmm.
or professional photographer. And by winning that exhibit and selling a piece of work, I was a professional.
Wow.
But I love cows. And today, Marriott and I were just out in the country, and we passed them at first, and we went and made a U-turn. I pulled off the side of the road. She got out of the car, and with just her Apple phone, got up on the fence, and I'm peering through the window of the passenger window, and if flies were coming by, they'd have been in my mouth because it was wide open.
Yeah, you were pretty mesmerized.
And I saw that one girl I could just see little bows on her hair, and she was, you may not see it in the film, but she's bouncing her feet, just playing with Marriott and the camera, until Marriott panned off to get a wide cover. Then she pranced off to go tell her friends. I'm a star. That woman was taking pictures of me. But they are. I use the word supernatural because I honestly believe there's something mysterious. I mean, do you ever wonder why in India, their culture, their religion, allows them to walk in and out of houses and businesses? There's something there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, they're protected. But I love them. I do. I love cows.
Well, thank you for answering my question and then some. It gives everybody an insight in what's going on with you and in your head and why you love cows as much as you love them. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing those beautiful, beautiful creatures in the grass, and that one young lady just staring at Marriott, I could see right through her. She was playing with the camera, and the rest of the cows had no idea. Very, very intelligent creatures. Don't ever underestimate the mind of a cow. They're supernatural. Spend time with one. You'll see what I'm talking about. The next time you're in a state fair or a farm, go look into one's eyes. They're deep and beautiful.
I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Have a wonderful day.